It's time for a Sunday quick hit. How great is this that we get to spend a Sunday together, guys? I just want to jump on here today to talk about Bravo Legal and some of the stuff that's going on and share my thoughts. That's why I'm here today. Where do we even begin? Let's begin before we get into some other things with, I guess I should look at the camera for everyone watching on YouTube. Let's begin with Faith Stowers. We have another lawsuit in the Bravo world. Brandi Glanville has not sued, but we know she had these claims against Andy. Bethany, is going around and throwing around the term reality reckoning with Mark Garagos and Brian Friedman. Leah McSweeney has filed a suit. Caroline Manzo has filed a suit. And now Faith Stowers has filed a suit. I've talked about the other suits and how likely I think they are to have success. We will get into Caroline's because there's some new developments on that. But Faith Stowers has sued. She has sued for discrimination and retaliation. She has sued Bravo and she has sued NBC Universal. So remember, at the time, Stassi and Kristen Doty were fired because of the racially insensitive actions. Basically, they accused her of being somewhere where she wasn't, and just because she was Black. Jax was eventually fired along with Brittany, although their reasons were never necessarily given as related to this. But let's face it, we all know that they were related to this. Garagos and Friedman have just moving my coffee closer, have come out. They have went through some things. They have said that Faith was the only Black cast member before on Vanderpump Rules before being driven out by a vicious campaign of racist harassment and retaliation. Looking over the court documents, they say that, and Garagos and Friedman, they're good. They say that Faith was recruited to be on the show by LVP to quote unquote add color to the cast. So LVP is mentioned. Although Faith would never set out to be a reality star, she was excited about the job and took the offer. She was paid $5,000 per episode. Nope, $5,000 for the entire first season of her participation. $5,000. Wow. It's not so much money now, is it? She quickly realized, according to the suit, that she got more than she bargained for. She was the subject of racism, sexual harassment, and physical assault in her first season. Here's where I find this fact interesting, and I think it's kind of like in a way where she loses the case, where they lose the case. She reported the mistreatment to NBC and the Vanderpump Rules producers over at Evolution. So she reported this apparently, and she was allegedly met with pushback, and she was told in no uncertain terms to keep quiet, play nice. For the sake of your career, keep quiet and play nice. After she reported it, only Black cast member. We're going to get into whether I think she has a good case or not. I know everyone has their own opinion, but what you guys don't realize is with all these cases is it doesn't matter if there's bad facts involved. Every lawsuit has bad facts. And by bad facts, I mean, you're going to sue someone, but here are the facts against you. It's never cut and dry. It's never like everything is in your favor. Of course, for every lawsuit, there are bad facts and facts that weigh against you not winning. But we apply the facts of the case to the letter of the law. That's how lawsuits are adjudicated. That's how juries are instructed. And so we can hate this one or hate that one, and we all have our favorites of who makes good TV. I'm not talking about that here today. I'm talking about whether each person has a fact, and based on their facts applied to the letter of the law, do I think they're going to win the case? I don't think any of these people are going to win the case. I think they're all going to be settled out of court. And that just kind of, as we digress here for a second, it really just I do think Caroline Manzo is going to get money. I think Leah McSweeney is going to get money. And I now think Faith Stowers is going to get money. I think Leah has a great case, overarching without getting into all the details, because she's in a protected class. I don't want to hear that she knew what she was getting into and she went back and she went back again and she went on girls' trip. And yes, all of these facts are going to be used against her. That's what we do. I still think Leah McSweeney has a case and is going to get money. Caroline, I told you guys, I knew for a fact. Well, I don't know anything for a fact because you don't know anything unless, and even if someone tells you something, you still don't know it. But I know from a very good source that she was trying to settle this and she wanted so much money. So Caroline is going to hold out for a lot of money. And I believe Faith has a great case here. I really do. Anyway, in addition to mentioning LVP, she is saying that Lala, a verbal and physical argument, that Lala held a knife to her neck and threatened her and said, I'm going to cut a bitch. Apparently, Lala is outraged by this claim and says none of this happened. She is saddened. She is shocked. She is outraged. I'm sure she also called Daryl and is looking into having Daryl, speak on her behalf. I don't know. Maybe she'll address it on her podcast. I wouldn't. I wouldn't address this at all. I would have Daryl address this. Faith says she was after that argument where she alleges that Lala put a knife to her neck and threatened her. She said that she was forced to share a bed with Lala during a cast trip, that producers pressured her to get intimate while in the bed with Lala and said, come on, caress each other, fool around with each other. And this was very disturbing to her. So, I mean, in addition to her claims of racism, yeah, I mean, being told to fool around with someone, that is not such a great fact. She was saying, Garagos and Friedman said in their complaint that at the time, the Vanderpump Rules cast members accused her of going AWOL from the army, completely false. They accused her of serial criminal activity, which Garagos and Friedman are saying is completely false. They're saying that she drugged and robbed men in LA, completely false, and that they filed a false police report accusing her of such. All false. And they say that was all based on race. They are then going on to say that NBC, didn't do anything at the time. They said that NBC and Bravo control cast members' Instagrams and control and very heavily monitor what cast members put out. And they condoned this behavior by, the Stassis and Kristens and Jaxes of the world, and all the things they were saying about Faith. They condoned it, they supported it, and they did not step in to say, hey, you might be hurting this girl's reputation. There you go. Also, they say that to make matters worse, NBC threatened her when she wanted to speak out and say these things are happening. They basically threatened her and they retaliated and they demoted her to a volunteer role on Vanderpump Rules, no longer a cast member, even though her participation in the case did not change. Lala says that none of this, that she's just outraged about these claims, that none of this happened. She can't even believe it. According to Faith, she believes that producers blatantly terminated several cast members, that would be Stassi and Kristen, and in a roundabout way, Jax and Brittany, that they blatantly terminated several cast members for behavior they had known long about in the aftermath of George Floyd's murder, and calls for equality, but never reached out to Stowers herself. Basically, she said that the racial reckoning of she's saying that the racial reckoning of 2020 has receded, so that Stassi and Kristen and these people were fired at the time, and NBC and producers have reverted to their old ways now that we're in a different political climate, that the racial reckoning of 2020 is over. And the Vanderpump Rules spinoff entitled The Valley debuted in March 2024, starring a who's who of the 2020 chopping block, Kristen and Jax. And let's not face it, Stassi was asked, she turned it down, otherwise she would be there. Now, This isn't about me. Life is not about me. But go and listen to all of my past episodes. You can just spin the dice and land on any day. I have said this 1,000 times, and I will stand by it when I say Bravo does not care at all about doing the right thing. They do not care. I mean, and I will stand by this. I said the only reason when Kristen and Jax were announced to be back, and I'm not saying they shouldn't be back. I don't even want to get into that. I'm just saying it proves that, we have Ramona Singer who used certain words. She used the N word. She's saying all these other things. We don't fire Ramona because Ramona is needed. We fire Jenny Ann from Salt Lake because she's a disposable cast member at that